opportunity to state the following. The relentless colonization of our territories has a direct correlation to an increased rate of violence against Indigenous peoples, in particular women, children, and two-spirits. We have many names for this crisis, one of which is missing and murdered relatives, MMIR. Our focus today is on the effect that temporary workforce housing for large construction projects, fossil fuel extraction, or mineral mining has on Indigenous communities situated nearby. As James Anaya, former rapporteur on the rights of Indigenous people, has stated, Indigenous women have reported that the influx of workers into Indigenous communities as a result of extractive projects has also led to increased incidents of sexual harassment and violence, including rape and assault. Here we highlight the following two examples. In a study in Canada examining the potential impacts associated with the Mount Milligan mine in British Columbia on the Nakazli and the Tlazden First Nations, it was found that the local community experienced a 48% increase in assaults with a weapon, a 50% increase in aggravated assaults, a 38% increase in sexual assaults, and a 37% increase in missing people reports. According to a report released in 2017, there is a correlation between an increase in violence and in the Bakken oil boom. On the Fort Berthold Indian Reservation in North Dakota, located in the middle of the Bakken oil fields, there has been a 70% increase of federal case violence between 2009 and 2011. The report states that since the boom, Native American communities have reported increased rates of human trafficking, specifically sex trafficking and missing and murdered Indigenous women in their communities. In light of this crisis, we reference Article 22.2, where states shall take measures in conjunction with Indigenous peoples to ensure that Indigenous women and children enjoy the full protection and guarantees against all forms of violence and discrimination. We therefore recommend that Article 22.2 include the term two-spirit, as they are also a highly targeted community. That the UN recommend to the U.S. that the Violence Against Women Act should add stronger language surrounding judicial sovereignty for tribal nations to prosecute non-tribal perpetrators on their own territories, which adheres to Article 34. That the UN support Indigenous advocates in Canada that are demanding the federal government ensure sexual violence associated with worker camps is addressed in the ongoing missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls inquiry. The UN continue to push the U.S. and Canadian governments to adhere to Articles 19, 26, and 3200, so corporations and governments need informed permission from tribal nations in order to carry out major construction and extraction on and within a certain distance of those territories. Kinas Kamchinanawa.